Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Well, let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story is an interesting title. It's from a throwaway account from the relationship advice subreddit, and it says, I 24 female want to break up with my magician boyfriend 27 male due to his inappropriate magic trick. Oh dearie me. My boyfriend 27 male and I 24 female have been together for 1 year and 3 months. Our relationship has been very loving but has started to get bumpy ever since we moved in together for our 1 year anniversary. A little backstory. I'm in college right now pursuing my master's degree in archaeology, while also working as a library clerk to earn money, whereas my boyfriend works as a magician for parties and events. Despite our different career paths, I've never had a problem with his career choice because it makes him happy. He has always found a way to make every day magical, which has been sweet. About 9-ish months into our relationship, I had the opportunity to go on a 2-month archaeological excavation in another country for school. Despite us becoming long distance, he had no problem with me going and he was very happy for me. He would send me gifts, letters, and he even sent things for my colleagues in order to brighten up their days. While we were doing long distance, we made plans to move into an apartment when I got back due to how much we missed each other. And a few days after I returned, we moved in together, which has been awful so far. Before living together, we would each see each other a few times a week due to my busy schedule, but now that we live together, we see each other all the time. And he has started to do magic all the time. He will make my keys disappear as I'm going to work or school. He tries to practice his card tricks on me while I'm doing homework. He makes the cleaning rag vanish when I ask him to clean, and he has recently done something that makes me want to end the relationship. I've never been in this serious of a relationship before, so I don't want to throw our loving relationship away just because of these bad few months. Last month we were getting steamy and he went down on me, which isn't unusual. While he was going down on me, he was saying some dirty talk here and there. I was lost in the moment for obvious reasons, but I snapped out of it when he said, "Oh, how did that get in there?" And I watched him pull a coin from my crotch. He found the coin moment hilarious, but it just took me out of the moment and instantly made me annoyed, so we stopped. Later I told him that him doing the magic in the bedroom made me literally dry up, so I asked him to keep that kind of magic out of the bedroom. He explained to me that he was trying to make me laugh and have fun, and he didn't apologize for it. I talked with some of my friends about it and they thought it was funny, so I figured that I was overreacting and needed to lighten up a bit. But he didn't do any magic tricks in the bedroom for the next few weeks. However, 4 days ago we were having sex and he suddenly started to yell, "Ow!" So I quickly got off of him and was asking what was wrong. He tells me, "I think there's something in you. Let me check." I laid on the bed like I was at the goddamn gyno because I trusted that if something was wrong then he would find it. After like 2 minutes, he says, "Oh, here it is." And I watched as he was pulling up a long ribbon thing that kept going and going and going. It took me a second for me to realize that it was one of his magic tools that he had purposely put in me while he was checking to see what he had left. He found it hilarious and couldn't stop laughing while he was pulling the string more and more. I ripped the whole thing out while he was doing it, and I yelled at him for doing another magic trick like that even though I told him not to. He told me that he was just adding more fun to our sex life and that he wanted to see what the magic trick would look like it was coming out from a crotch. The original magic trick involves putting the coil thing in your own mouth and pulling the plastic string for a while. I was so pissed off, I made him go stay at his parents' house for the past few days. This morning, I talked with him some more, but he still thinks that it's not a big deal. I get that he's a magician and that he loves magic, but I'm still upset about him breaking that boundary I had set. I'm fine with his magic tricks 85% of the time, but sex is where I draw the line. I'm demisexual, so I need to have a strong, trusting, and close relationship with someone before I can even think about having sex with them. So him breaking my boundary has really hurt me, and I've lost my trust in him. However, everyone I have talked to about the situation says that what he did was hilarious, and I've been told by multiple people that I'm overreacting, which is why I decided to go to Reddit. We have built a strong relationship, and I really saw myself marrying him one day. I fully trusted him, and now I don't know if I ever can again. Should we break up, or can we fix this and stay together? I'm lost, so I'd appreciate any advice. Thanks. There was obviously a lot of comments joking around the issue on this one. But let's face it, the disrespect he's showing you when you told him, look, you don't want that stuff going on in the bedroom, and he's like, no, and does it again. And there was a lot of comments joking about what was the content of this post because, you know, it's wild in itself. But if you really think about it, you've told him that you're not happy with something, and then he continues to do it because he thinks it's great. He thinks it's funny. To the point of putting something inside you as well, which I was just like, what the fuck? But PM me says, in quotes, he still thinks that it's not a big deal, and then says, okay, but you do. I honestly don't understand people who, when someone says something bothers them, they respond with, it's not a big deal. Then it turns into who is right or wrong. I'm right because it's funny, and you're wrong because it's not a big deal, so I'm going to keep doing it. In my opinion, he's showing you that he cares more about his own amusement than not doing something that genuinely bothers you. Troubling quotes that and says, OP, really think about this part specifically. You've told him these things bug you, especially in the bedroom, and it sounds like the general response is the equivalent of, well, yeah, you don't like it, but I think it's funny, so I'm going to keep doing it. That's the overall issue that stands out to me here. From the moment you started talking about living together, before you even got to the bedroom, the situations he was trying to use for tricks were already inconsiderate and disrespectful. I'm not jumping on the you should immediately break up train like a lot of Reddit, because there's no way to know the level of conversations you've had so far or your relationship dynamic. But the absolute minimum here is sitting him down and having a serious conversation about this and really making sure he grasps that you don't care if he thinks it's funny. You don't. You don't like it and want it to stop. And one more comment from different version who says, I hope this is fake, but in case this is real, please say this out loud to yourself and see how it feels as it hits your ear. Your partner, after you already told him that you did not consent to magic tricks in the bedroom, inserted a magician's prop into your vajayjay and laughed. A magician's prop that likely was not designed to and may not even be safe or sterile to insert into human genitalia. In addition, you told him how it made you feel, and he continues to find it hilarious. He knows he made you uncomfortable and upset by inserting a magician's prop into your vajayjay, and still finds it funny. Would he be laughing if you put it up his butthole during sex and said, ta-da? He sexually violated you and finds it hilarious. Nothing that you said makes him think it's anything other than funny. He thinks it's okay to violate your physical and sexual boundaries for a joke. So at some point later, OP did come in with an update and said, first off, no, this story isn't AI or fake. It's sadly true, but I can understand why people would think that it's AI due to the absurdity of it. Secondly, thank you to everyone for the advice in the comments on my previous post. I was lost and looking for some advice because of the uncomfortable situation, and people around me felt differently about it than I did. People in the comments were right, and I should trust my own feelings rather than searching for answers from the people around me. That's something I struggled with for my whole life because my family is very reliant on each other, and my parents are both helicopter parents. So I learned from a young age that I couldn't trust my own instincts because other people know better. Which is why I asked my friends and mum about the situation. I had a lot more work to do in trusting myself, but at least I'm working on it now. Here's the update. After my previous post, I read through some of the comments and realized that what my boyfriend did would be considered assault. It wasn't something that I had even considered because I was only seeing it as him doing something stupid in the bedroom that broke my boundary and made me uncomfortable. But seeing those comments opened up my eyes a lot. If he was willing to break my boundary only after a year of dating and could do that to me in the bedroom, what else would he be capable of? I met with him the next day at our apartment and told him about my feelings, which he didn't seem to care about. I showed him the Reddit post so that he could see that other people were also uncomfortable with what happened. He read through your comments, but when he saw the word assault being used a few times, he got really aggravated. I'd never seen him that angry before, but he was screaming non-stop and even whipped my coffee mug across the room. I ended up crying because I was scared, and I think that snapped him back to reality or something because he stopped yelling and was trying to comfort me. I made him leave our apartment again because I didn't want to be around him anymore. That night, my friends helped me pack up my stuff and they took me to my parents' house, which is where I'm at now. After I was out of the apartment and safe, I called him up and broke up with him over the phone because I didn't feel comfortable doing it in person after his previous reaction. I'm so upset that I wasted over a year of my life dating him and even thinking about a future with him. Thank you all for giving me the courage to follow my feelings and break up with him for good. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you for all the jokes. It's livened the mood and helped me feel a bit better about the situation. Yes, as a greb, which I'm assuming is a user, the magic is gone and it's time for me to disappear. Comment say on that one, don't be upset about wasting time on someone. You're young and it was a year. These wasted times are so pivotal to us as adults. What you got from that relationship is a spine. You stood on your own 2 feet and said, not once, but twice, this isn't an acceptable way to treat me, and it isn't okay. This is a tool you will use for the rest of your life in many types of relationships. Don't feel sad, feel empowered. Another commenter says, yes, you learned an important lesson, OP, and you can just be thankful it's over now. Don't be too hard on yourself. Another commenter says, bold strategy to prove he isn't abusive by chucking a coffee mug. Happy you are safely out of there, OP. Mama Bear says, and just like that, poof, the girlfriend disappeared. Not your effing problem reply saying, his greatest trick. And Grand Lizardo says, and had best freezer credit, secure her financials and valuables, before something else disappears. Move on, hun. He's not worth your time or effort. You can do much better. Yep, dude really showed him his true self there with a coffee cup at the end there, but holy moly, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from OddCandy0302 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. And it says, am I the arsehole for naming my daughter a verb? I, 31, have 2 sons, Jesse 4 and Lucas 3, and just had my 3rd child a few days ago, and it's a girl. I love all of my children equally, but we've always wanted a daughter, and so we decided to choose a meaningful name for her. Some names we considered were Amara, Esme, Celine, Rosalie, but we wanted something more unique, so I suggested Embrace, because I think it's a lovely name, and also unique because it'd convey that our daughter's both loving and open to change. My husband loved the idea, and we settled on naming our baby girl Embrace. Yesterday, I went over to my parents' place so they could meet her for the first time. My older sister and younger brothers, 30 and 25, were also there, and my sister asked if I had decided on what to name her. Me and my husband told them that we're going to name her Embrace, and my sister burst out laughing. She said that my daughter's going to be bullied and her name's going to be punned the hell out of if I name her a verb. But I argued that it has a beautiful meaning and is more unique than a lot of names that convey similar meaning. One of my brothers, 30, and dad said that my sister had a point. My youngest brother said that he didn't want any involvement in this conflict, and my mum told my sister not to be so negative and defended my decision. This resulted in a huge argument, and I ended up leaving with my husband in tears. I asked a few close friends for their opinions, and some say that both sides are understandable, while others are telling me that my sister is right and the name won't age well. So Reddit, am I the arsehole for naming my daughter a verb? The top commenter on this one said, you can name your child anything you'd like. That doesn't mean you should. Think about teenage boys and a girl named Embrace. That should give you plenty of reasons not to do this to her. I'm all in favor of you do you, but this is a bridge too far. Maybe translate it into an obscure language. You would be the arsehole if you go through with this. Opie says thank you for presenting it from that point of view. I'm actually thinking it over from that perspective. Commenter says, go over to Facebook and look for a group called That Name is a Tragedy. Don't be an arsehole to your kid. It's not the embrace being a verb. It can equally be a noun. That isn't the point. It's just odd. If you like, give it to her as a middle name and she can choose. Opie says, honestly, I like the idea of giving it to her as a middle name. I'll definitely be considering it. Thanks a bunch. Another commenter says, you're the arsehole. Listen, it's a beautiful word, but not as a name. And what's even worse is that husband and I always wanted a girl, so when we finally got a daughter, we wanted to name her something meaningful. Have you any idea what a slap in the face that is for your sons? You're basically saying the boys doesn't really matter. Their names doesn't matter. You finally got the child you wanted, so now you're going to actually care. For the child you want, not the wrong gendered. You're a huge piece of shit. Opie says, thanks for sharing your opinion. I honestly didn't think of it that way when I wrote that part, but to clarify, when I said we've always wanted a daughter, I mean that we wanted both genders. Even if we ended up having a boy this time around, we'd just be as delighted. I understand how what I wrote comes off that way, but believe me, we put just as much thought into our sons' names and love them more than anything. Hope that clears up the misunderstanding. Opie on needing to reconsider the name as it's terrible for people as they get older. Opie says, oh, well, I apologize for being a bit too upset about that. If you actually met a stripper named Embrace, then I can see where it's coming from. My bad. Honestly, that's actually making me low-key reconsider the name. And one more comment that says you're the arsehole. She'll be the subject to way too much unwelcome touching in her life. Opie says, well, that's a new way to look at it, and that I didn't think about. I'll definitely have to consider that. Thanks. A couple of weeks later, Opie came in with an update and said, so 2 weeks ago, I made a post asking if I was the arsehole for wanting to name my newborn daughter Embrace. A name implying love, because my sister, father, one of my brothers, and a few close friends said that the name could be embarrassing for my daughter in the future and wasn't a good idea. I discussed things with my husband a few days ago and showed him the post and comments, and we both agreed that it might not be a good idea to name her something so unusual. Some of the you're the arsehole comments were harsh, but I needed the reality check. Thanks. After that, I arranged to meet with my sister the next day, and we both apologized to each other for the argument. Anyways, after some discussion and advice from my immediate family and some friends, we decided to name our baby girl Amara instead. Everyone seems to love the name, including us of course. So that's good, and we're set on Amara. But if we decide to choose something else, we still have until August because my daughter was born on June 13th. And our country gives you 60 days to register the baby after its birth. Thank you to everyone who provided their help by reading my original post and commenting their opinion. It was a great help. Opie talks about their final decision on their daughter's first and middle names and says, thanks for the suggestion. Me and my husband have already chosen Celine as her middle name. We thought Tamara, meaning grace, eternal, and everlasting, would go well with Celine, which means sky or heaven from French. Opie also says on her sons' names and their meanings. Opie says Jesse means God's gift or king, and Lucas means light. Those names aren't very common in my area, and to be honest, my husband and I took inspiration for those names from a game because they're realistic and actually sound nice. Just because I didn't talk about the process of naming our sons doesn't mean it wasn't any less like our daughters and important to us. And Opie leaving a comment because people were saying about favoritism between the sons and the daughter, and Opie says, believe me, it's not. I may have worded things a bit wrongly in the first post, but we put just as much effort into our sons' names as we did into our daughters. It's just that she's our first and only girl, so picking a name out for her would be different, and we wanted to make sure it was meaningful. I know I sound biased, but I really do love all three of my children the same. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much. And don't forget, at the very end of the video, there'll be a couple of playlists there that you can click on that will automatically scroll through all those videos for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.